Well, I don't know. This thing says you're live, but I can't see myself. Share screen with audience. Oh, I don't know how this thing works at all. Hopefully you can see me. It says 28 seconds. I'm live. I don't see nothing on here. It's just a black screen. So, hallelujah. Shalom, homies. Again, I'm trying to learn everything. I know it says I'm live on my, just show my screen. Okay. Oh yeah, it is showing me. Cool. So show me, homies. I actually wanted to come live because of, well, one, I sent the another video earlier today. That video was really supposed to yesterday, but again, I was like, oh no, I missed some stuff. Oh, I should do the video over again, and then got hit with a beautiful song, and I was like, this goes exactly with yesterday's message. So I'm going to, just go with the flow what Yahuah's giving. So, anywho, I would usually post. It doesn't say J in there at all. No J, L, and J. So you have to know about that. It is a beautiful song about it. And I'm like, is the church waking up? Yeah. Is the church really just words about us, even though it's still
I left my father back at home. Mama didn't want me to leave. I was blinded by the gold. Got a big world to see. Bags on back, not going back. This is my inheritance. Picking up what I deserve. Brother called it arrogance, but
word. Be joyful because this is exactly what is happening to us. Everything that's in here, in this song, happened to us. And it never even hit me to the song that this was us, basically. We basically disconnected ourselves from Yahuah. We wanted the blessings, but we didn't really want Yahuah. So we said, hey, give us our inheritance. We want to be with the other nations. You know what? He gave us over to the other nations. And then we will always come back and he'll put a ring on our finger. He'll always bless us. He would always restore us because we are his. All in all, we are his. So with us being Yahuah's, who did he call us by? He called us Yaakov. He calls us Yasharel. And this goes back to the DNA, our bloodline. He's talking to a righteous seed, a righteous man he is calling us by. Because if we actually look at us today, there is, man, so many things we're doing wrong. There's so many things that we are not, that we should be. From a Abraham, Yishak, Yaakov perspective, they knew who they were. They knew what they're supposed to do. They knew the law, statutes, the commandments. It was passed down by word of mouth. And even if you look in the book of Yasher, it says that Yehuda, when he sinned and going into his stepdaughter, that he knew from the words that was passed down from Abraham that this was evil. And he went to Yahuah about it. And Yahuah forgave him because he earnestly was repenting. So though they already had the law, statutes, and commandments, then it just wasn't written down like it was with Moshe. So again, I put this as the forefathers in us are returning. Yeah, I want to put, I forgot the name of this video, honestly. Oh yeah, here we go. The forefathers are returning in us. That includes our inheritance. So how are the forefathers in us? If you've seen our last video, which I made a mistake on, I say King David was the first king, he was the second king. Anywho, that was another reason why I was going to delay on that video. But the forefathers in us, That goes back to our DNA, our bloodline, our inheritance, who we are as a people. We are being restored. Yahuah has activated so many of us. We were the sleeper cells, literally. We were asleep of our nation. We was asleep in the diaspora. We did. A lot of us didn't really care. Some of us, they were activated. Some of us woke up. Oh man, this is the Matrix. But I'm the only one in it. I'm gonna take the red pill. I'm gonna take the pill that makes me go back to sleep. I'm going to do what everyone else is doing, because living in the Matrix is, coming out of the Matrix is crazy. It's basically, in the Matrix, you have Neo. He wants to know the truth, and he was content with being out of the truth. It shocked him. He had to read. He had to learn how to fight. We had to learn how to warfare. He had to learn how to walk in the world, even though he wasn't in the world, because we are not of the world. So it is wild how you could see the comparisons of, they knew who we were beforehand. They knew that we were asleep, that there was millions of us who were just asleep. And Mystery Babylon, the other nations, they're facilitating everything. They're the ones going through, taking us, destroying our children, taking us, using our talents, doing all these things. And then you had a Judas, basically, in the movie, who was awake, but he wants to go back to sleep. He wants to forget everything that he learned. Those are those who wake up and they want to go back to the church. They want to, hey, it was easier then. It was like, grandma was rejecting me, and because we have so much inside of us due to the destruction of the other nations. So again, the forefathers are returning in us. That includes our inheritance. Everything that our forefathers had, everything our forefathers were, we are now. We never lost the blessings of Yahuah. He still has put that blessing upon us. We still are talented. We still are a people that is the salt of the earth. Even though we are destroyed, doing all these things in wickedness, we still have those gifts, those talents that's been encoded in our DNA. Going to the church, the worshipers, where we were in the church at that time, or some who still in the church now, they could worship, and you'll feel the presence of the Ruach HaKodesh come, because they were worshiping so earnestly. It wasn't, not everyone, but it wasn't out of pride they was doing this. They really were seeking Yahusha, but they called him by another name because that's all they knew. But then came a time where many of us woke up. Many of us started to become who we were before, our forefathers. They became the righteous seed of Yaakov again. They put away the swine. They put away the lying tongue. They put away the fornication. They put away the ways of the world, so that they may walk righteously before Yahuah, the King of glory. Returning back to our inheritance, who we have inherited Yahuah as our inheritance. Because he gave us everything. He said, out of all the nations, he chose one, Abraham. He said, yeah, Nimrod is powerful, you can have him. Yeah, these other nations over here, Japhet, you can have them. Yeah, there's other people of tribes of Shem, but I want this one man. And that actually is going to go into another thing with Genesis 1. Genesis 1, this is off topic, but Genesis 1, a brief, I was going to do a video breakdown of Genesis 1. It's about Yahuah telling us who we are. It's about Yahuah showing us his glory. And it's about him creating us before we ever came to be. What he did with the earth, that was us, because we came from the earth. I'll get into that later. That's a whole other thing. Anyway, the inheritance. We can't go and be kings and priests and prophets and prophetess without an inheritance, without land. That even in the Torah, that we're supposed to have land. We're supposed to have, unless Levite, the only nations who tribe that did not inherit land because they were in all the tribes. Why? Because you need priests. The priests are judges. The priests are supposed to be righteous. And for righteousness, they have a connection with Yahuah that the other nations may not have, unless Yahuah calls them. Because we know Yahuah he still had a righteous connection with other people. With Shushana, she prayed. Maccabees, they were Levites. So there were also in the book of Maccabees, the righteous priest, I forgot his name. I think it was Simeon or something. He prayed, and then Yahuah heard him because the Levites are sons. The Levites are the only one tribe that when they're born, they're sons. Sons and daughters off the bat. So it's not like when you're Yehuda and Dawid became a son, but he had to work to become that son. As a Levite, you start off as a son. Why? Because you're supposed to start off righteous. You're supposed to start off knowing about Yahuah. You have the Torah. You have the law, statutes, and commandments. You've been built up and raised in this. You've been chosen, selected. Everything in Yahuah is set apart. Yahuah is set apart from even the heavens and the angels. And then the angels in the heavens are set apart from things on the earth. And the things of the earth were set apart from man, even though man was pulled out of the earth. So he made the earth and pulled man out of the earth. And then after he made man out of the earth, he pulled Chua from the man, set apart of the set apart of the set apart. And of them two, out of all, who are they? Yafet, Shem, and Ham, one was chosen, set apart of the set apart of the set apart. And out of them, Abraham was chosen. And out of Yishak, Yaakov, and Esau, Yaakov was chosen. And out of Yaakov, who was chosen, it was Reuben, who was supposed to carry the bloodline, supposed to carry the priesthood, the kingship, and inheritance. He dropped it. The inheritance went to Joseph. And the kingship went to Yehuda. And the priesthood went to Levi. So again, set apart, set apart, set apart. There's 12 of them. 3 of them inherited the kingship, the priesthood, and the inheritance. So out of those 3, we see Yaakov, he inherited. Out of Judah, Yehuda, we see Dawid was chosen even out of that, set apart. That his seed is the only seed that's going to be sitting on the throne. And of the Levites, we see that there are priests. Of the Levites, sorry, we see that Aharon was the one who was chosen, set apart again. And out of Aharon, we have priests set apart. Out of the priests, we have the high priest. Out of the tribe of Levi, we have the singers, we have the dancers, we have the worshipers, we have the ones who set up and tear down. Again, only Aharon was the one who was chosen. Let me put this down a little bit lower. Can't really see my hands. Anywho, it is so interesting how Yahuah sets everything apart in the bloodline and what's encoded in us. And again, if you've seen last video, I didn't tie it in all the way. I apologize. But again, I'm learning, like this, setting this up. This is my first time doing this, and I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to be doing? It's just a black screen. It says live, 13 minutes. Please like and subscribe if you do like. Pray that you like it. Anywho, everything goes back to a bloodline. Everything is tied into a bloodline, a DNA, a code that was passed down from generation to generation. And what I was trying to put together was that even though we are so far removed, we're not that far removed. We're removed because we don't know, but it's still in us. I would say like my mom, she was teaching me how to make bread. And making bread, she's like, yeah, you got to knead it like this. And then the first time I got this bread, I'm kneading it, boom, throwing it on as this. Never watched a video on making bread. And then we tasted the bread. My bread came out better than hers. It's like, oh, okay. Happened the second time. How I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kneading the bread. I was just making it. But it was a code in me that my mom had to learn as a skill, but it was passed down to me that I already knew how to do this. And then there was another time when playing djembes. I'm just do. Like, the heck? Hands are just moving. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, how do I know how to do this? This is my first time playing. But there was a code in me that someone in my lineage, they played the djembe. And that was activated. Like, okay. And it's funny because every time I tried to learn how to play djembe, it's like that what was already in me. It's like, oh, you're trying to do something outside of what I know or what I was doing. So now you're going to have to learn how to play your way. I'm like, what? Well, what happened to all that I was doing before? But we all have something that we just inherently are good at. Again, inheritance inherently. So when we look into all this, when we see the beauty of what Yahuah is doing, he's already raising up the kings right now. He's already raising up the priests right now. He's already called us. We say like, hey, I'm Judah, I'm Levi, and some say they're Benjamin. But then a lot of people say they're Judah and they're not really Judah. They may actually be Levites. A lot of them say they're Judah and they actually might be Benjamin. I know, let me see if I can find that video. It's humble for Yah. And it was Zakapet. So on humble for Yah, he says, US Open. He says in this video, please don't mess with the Benji. He's claiming Benjamin.
Hey, yo, do it. Who you think you are? Young man in the truth. Why you go so hard? Just playing Ock. I'm liking your flow and Benji only parties with a sword. 1804. Ain't no partying anymore here with Levi. Benji only parties with a sword.
Benjamin party. So it's interesting because this is Do It for a Nation. He's been called Humble for Yah and Hebrew Fresh. They're from the islands and they're claiming Benjamin. Now, I was in Tanzania, currently in Kenya, and I was talking to this guy from the islands again. And we're just having a regular conversation. He says, yeah, we know we're from the tribe of Benjamin. I'm like, what? We ain't even talking about like Hebrew stuff. We just talk about regular stuff, what you're doing here, you know. And he just says, hey, we know we're from the tribe of Benjamin. I'm like, interesting. And then it starts to connect through humble for Yah. He said, please don't mess with the Benji. He's claiming Benjamin on himself. And then listen to Zakat Fed came out later on that, again, they're claiming Benjamin. And Benjamin is interesting. It's an interesting tribe. For we know that in, I don't know, hold on. The two arms, the two shoulders. Okay. Deuteronomy 33 and 12. Let me go over here. Stop sharing. Share. Okay. Bible Hub. Version. Yes, new names. Of the beloved of Yahusha dwell and say him, even between his shoulders. So it's interesting on even that because Yaakov, he loved Benjamin. What happened with Benjamin? Yosef, he was kind of playing around and he was testing his brothers. And in testing his brothers, he was like, hey, I'm taking Benjamin. Y'all can go. Because he wanted to see if they were actually repentative of what they did with him. So he said, okay, yeah, y'all could go. I'm just keeping Benjamin. And Yehuda stepped up and he's like, hey, let Benjamin go and I will go in your place. I'll go in his place. You can send me out to war and I'll fight and destroy and subdue all your enemies. So we see that Yehuda stood up for him. And in doing so, basically, we know Yehuda's the right arm. We don't see too much what Levi said, but we know that Levi was the one who was sent to go and mark all the cities. So even Yehuda back then trusted Levi, said, because Levi could run very quickly, said, hey, this is the book of Yahusha, if y'all have read it. He said, Levi, go and mark all the streets. Came back, there's 12 streets. He said, hey, I'm going to take 3 streets. Y'all take these streets over here. And then I think it was Shimon who said, hey, I'm just going to get a boulder and level the city. So again, they were men of war. And men of renown too, because they were afraid of him. I'm looking up right now. Okay, and Sefer, and of Benjamin, he said, the beloved Yahuah shall dwell in safety by him, and Yahuah shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. So he's talking about like the blessings. Let's go back. Actually, let's read this. And start at verse 7. And this is the blessing of Yehuda. And he said, hear, Yahuah, the voice of Yehuda, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be you a help to him from his enemies. Then Levi said, let your Tumim and Urim be with your Yaqub, whom you did prove at Makkah, and with whom you did strive at the waters of Meribah, who said to his fathers and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brother, nor knew his own children, for they have guarded your word and kept your covenant. And this is when Moshe called the Levites, said, who would stand up for Yahuah? And they all stood up and they said, go kill your mother, your father, your sister, brother, all those who went to go whoring after Baal. They killed all of them. They didn't be like, oh, dad, oh, I can't do this. Oh, my brother, oh, my son, my daughter, oh. Nah, they went forth and they said, if you're not for Yahuah, I'm going to judge you. So Yahuah put the Levites as judges over the people. He said, 11, bless Yahuah his substance and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. And then, of course, we go to Benjamin, and then we go to Joseph, he said, on 13. And he said, blessed of Yahuah be his land, for the precious things of heaven, for the dew and for the deep that couches beneath, for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things put forth by the moon, for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills, and for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwelt in the thorn bush. Let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his glory, his brethren. His glory is like the first thing of his blood, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together at the ends of the earth, and there are 10,000 of Ephraim, and there are 1,000 of Manasseh. Again, he received the inheritance. The inheritance is supposed to be in the firstborn. So it's basically like Joseph was the firstborn. He received the inheritance, but he did not receive the kingship that went to Yehuda. He did not receive the priesthood that went to Levite. So even Yahuah still deals with threes, and that's beautiful how he does. Just separates, made those threes set apart. But even of that, he separated Benjamin to his brothers. Now, Benjamin is interesting because going into Benjamin, they were a powerful people. That's crazy, right? They were a powerful people. And I'm going to go to Shemuel. Again, this all goes back to bloodline. This goes back to inheritance. This goes back to who we are, because we need to know who we are in these 3 tribes that were separated, but we were all sold together in slavery. Our inheritance, our forefathers. Ask Yahuah, hey, what tribe am I? Am I Yehuda? Am I Levi? Am I Benjamin? I know which tribe I am because Yahuah, he told me many times, actually. And I didn't believe it until he literally just showed me an open vision. And then I was like, oh, still kind of doubting. And I said, okay, well, teach me this then. And then they started teaching me. And I'm like, okay. Mm. So we're going to go to First Samuel. We're going to 1 Samuel 9:1. And there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish. Again, we're going to tribe. We're going to the name of the lineage, Kish, the son of Aviel, the son of Siror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphiach, a Benjamin, a mighty man of power. That's interesting because he didn't just say, oh, he is a valiant man, he's a mighty man of war. He said a mighty man of power. If we go back beforehand to the Benjamin, the tribe, Shaul later on, he says, hey, I'm the smallest of my tribe. Why are you choosing me? So that goes back to Judges when Benjamin, they did wicked in Yasharel by wanting to rape the Levite priest. And then the Levite priest was like, no, here, take my concubine who basically who cheated on him, ran off. He went, got him back. He didn't want to go to the Mitzrayim cities. He instead went to his own fellow countrymen, which was a Benjamin. The Benjamites were like, hey, give us this man. We want to do such and such to him. And then the man who took him in said, hey, we shouldn't be doing this thing to our brethren. They didn't like that. He took, they threw out the daughters. He said, here, take our daughters. They didn't want the daughters. He threw out his concubine. His concubine went out. They basically raped her and beat her, and they gave her back. And then basically she came to the doorstep, put her hand there. She died there. Then the Levite, he cut her body in 12 pieces, sent out to all 12 tribes. Then 12 tribes were angry. And they came all together as one man and one mind and said, we're going to go and judge basically Benjamin. They went out to Benjamin, and when Benjamin seen, they said, hey, give us these wicked men. And Benjamin said no. They stuck together. Even in wickedness, they stuck together. And when they went against Benjamin, Benjamin was going against 11 tribes. 11 tribes. And there was 400 slingers who slang the sling and didn't miss a hair's breadth. There was valiant men, there was mighty warriors, all this stuff. And they went out, and Yahuah and them, they prayed, said, should we go up against our brother? Yahuah said, go. Benjamin smote the other 11 tribes, had sent them packing. They came back and said, yo, Yahuah, should we go up against our brother? He said, go. They came up again. Benjamin smote them again, twice. And then the third time, they sought out to Yahuah, and he said, hey, I'm going to give him to your hand tomorrow. And how did they do it? They didn't go straight up against Benjamin. Head-to-head battle didn't work. This time they fled out. And then Benjamin, just like the times before, they went out against them. Then they sent men to go into the city to kill everybody in the city. And then the symbol of them was that they was going to set a high flame that going out the city. Then they said, hey, that's how we know to come back and attack Benjamin. And then there was a pincer attack on both sides coming out the walls after killing everybody, man, woman, child, inside the gates. Then they had the tribe that the parts that they went and they were fleeing. They came back. And they pincered them in, which was coming from both angles, and only 600 men of Benjamin escaped. 600. What am I getting at? Benjamin is powerful. Why are they powerful? Because they're in between the right arm, Yahuah, and the left arm of Levi. The right arm and the left arm. Anything we know that if you're being charged up on the right hand of Yahuah, if you're being charged up by the left hand of the Levites, and is going into the center, you're hitting 2 points. So you're getting a double charging. This is what he did with Benjamin. He nuzzled him into the bosom that the power source from Yahuah and the power source of Levi. If you read the Testament of Levi, it actually says that there was a race and all the brothers were going to get the sun and the moon, and Yahuah got the sun and Levi got the moon. The sun, the high power, the glory, the lesser power, the moon went to Levi. And being nuzzled in between both of those power sources, Benjamin became powerful. Powerful enough to even take on the 11 tribes. Now, after Benjamin died, a lot of Benjamins were killed. It still said, hey, the son of Kish, Shaul's father, was a mighty man of power. And Shaul, we know that he was a man of war. That when he went out to battle, he also killed. Again, inheritance, bloodline. He inherited what was in his father, that came from his father's father's father, that came from that tribe that was mighty slingers and mighty men of war that put even his other 11 brothers to flight. Again, bloodline, DNA. When we were in that state of slavery and they made us to reproduce, mighty men of war were still born and birthed. They might not have been activated. Some were activated during that time because we know that there was like 200 some revolts. But Yahuah didn't stick together. But Benjamin, again, they stuck together in wickedness. When they came to the islands in Haiti, they revolted and stuck together and didn't sell out their brother. And they conquered. Jamaica, they stuck together with their brothers and they conquered. Now, if you feel like, hey, like, I don't know about that, maybe they're not Benjamin, I only have these 4 sources of these 3 men saying, hey, we're Benjamin. The man telling me directly, hey, we know we're Benjamin. I can't say anything else, honestly. And I could only relate to this because Yahuah gave that to me, and I was like, ooh, what? That's interesting. I ain't never heard anyone say that. But we have the Benjamin, mighty man of power, and we don't see many mighty men of power in the scriptures. Anyway, it's getting what, 123, 32 minutes. Anywho, just want to come back to say, tie it all back in. I know I get off track and I didn't write down anything because I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I tried doing a live before, and they said you don't have enough subscribers to do it, and I'm like, let's see if it'll work today. Yes, it worked today. So at least I know now, next time, what to do. But to tie it all in, our inheritance that goes back to Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, the blessings that came from Yasharel is still upon us. Yahuah is just activating, waking us up little by little. It's not going to wake us all up at the same time because then the wicked nations, they have to quell it. Just like they did with the uprisings. We would come together, know who we were, boom, destroyed. Boom, destroyed. Yahuah was waking up little by little, year by year, month by month. We have Kanye West coming out. We have Kyrie Irving coming out. Other people, oh man, this is interesting. Let me learn about this. Let me learn about this. For me, I was a Christian when I found out. And that was through my dad, who they woke up and I was going up the stairs. My dad said, hey, Zach, did you know we're the Israelites? And it took me back to what I perceived as a meme, which said, hey, black people are true Hebrews. And I'm just like, it was on like green screen, green background. I'm just like, that's a meme. So I was going upstairs and I'm going to disprove that because I wasn't woken up to this. I only knew this one time. This is fake. I was going to research, show him proof. We're not the people of the book. And when I went to my room, the Ruach HaKodesh said, go into this with an open mind. Okay. I researched for 3 days. Black people are Hebrews. All I was finding like articles that were totally good. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of this. Totally bad. I can't really use this. It's just all negative. I was looking for that middle ground for 3 days just on the internet. And then I was like, why don't I just go to YouTube? Finally went to YouTube. They tied it in with scripture and history. And I love history and I love scripture. So I was like, I guess we're the people. Then that 6 day, 3 days after watching YouTube videos, my dad said, hey, Zach, so what do you think? And we're like, yeah, we're the people. Activated. So we're going to receive a lot. We're receiving back our lineage, we're receiving back our name, we're receiving back who we are, we're receiving back our identity. We're just waiting to receive the inheritance that is owed to us. The land, the riches, the glory, the servants, is all coming back to us. We're just waiting for our kinsman redeemer to take us out first. So that's all I had to say today. Shalom and be strong. And I pray you have a blessed day.